So, right. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to our panel, Film Commissions Beyond Locations. I would like to start by introducing our speakers one by one. So, shall we start from you, Julia?
Yes, of course. Thank you. I'm Julia Kratli. I'm the managing director of the Zurich Film Fund, also known as Zürcher Filmstiftung, which is German. And as you may know, Zurich is in the German part of Switzerland.
Right. And you, Carlo?
I am Carlo Crestodina. I'm a film producer. I did quite a few films in co-production with Switzerland. I have two companies, one in London and one in Italy. And Italy is the Italian side of the Mediterranean. Because we are starting teaching geography here, like.
Exactly. And not everybody knows Switzerland.
Buongiorno, I'm Lisa Barzaghi. I'm from Ticino Film Commission. Ticino is, as you can hear from my accent, is in the Italian part of Switzerland, in the southest part. We are a small part compared to the rest of Switzerland, and I'm working at the Film Commission since 2017.
Hello all, my name is Dino Malacarne. I'm the managing director of the Film Commission in Zurich. I'm quite new to the game, so I just closed my first year this May. And yeah, I'm happy to be here on the panel and talk to you today.
Bonjour, Tristan Albrecht. So I'm going to talk in English, which is funny since we are in Cannes, but I'm representing the French side. As you heard, I represent the Valais Film Commission, which is the south of Switzerland. It's really a place near the border of Italy and France, so it's a good place to produce, but also to smuggle. If you want to smuggle any alcohol or cigarettes or whatever, you can come to our place.
Right, and as you can all imagine, we're talking about three Swiss film commissioners being here at the panel. Members, all of them members of the European Film Commissions Network, the EUFCN. I'm the manager of the EUFCN. And we're very happy to introduce you the regions in Switzerland today. The objective of this panel today is, of course, to find out ways of producing and co-producing with Switzerland and what the country has to offer, but also to shed light to the work that film commissions do. Many of the people in the industry might believe that film commissions are just about locations. Or, you know, everybody knows that film funds are from the one side of the spectrum in the film industry, promotion bodies are on the other side, and somewhere in between, these weird people called film commissioners are doing something. So we would like to make it clear what these people are doing. And in order to do that, we will start from A, B, C, D, therefore from the Film Fund, okay? So I would like to start with you, Julia, by asking you to give us an overview, considering exactly what you just said, all of you, the special characteristic of Switzerland having different regions and three speaking languages. Shall we have an overview from you about the funding structures, both in a national level and in Zurich?
Yes. In Zurich, the film funding is based on three pillars. There is first the national level with the Federal Office of Culture and the Media Desk Swiss. And as you can hear, it's the Federal Office of Culture, and this is a difference to many other countries, that all or nearly all the financing for film in Switzerland comes from culture. The second pillar is public TV, and the third pillar is our regional funds. So Zurich Film Fund is the biggest one in Switzerland. Then we have also in the French-speaking part is Cineforum located. And these three pillars are the main ones. And important to know, we don't have a tax incentive. Okay. What we do have is an investment refund on national level, but you need a Swiss producer who is eligible to apply. Otherwise, you cannot get any financing out of Switzerland from the public side. Yes, and Zürcher Filmstiftung, Zurich Film Fund, we support all formats. We support all formats in development, in production, and then in promotion. In development, we have a maximum of 100,000 Swiss francs to give. In production, up to 1 million Swiss francs, and in promotion, 100,000. Every support is granted as a soft loan, and in case of succeed, if it's very successful, you have to pay back. Yes, that I would say that's the.
And also the streamers. Also, there is this new legislation, right?
Yes, we have a new Film Act since January 2024. So it's completely new, and at the moment we don't know exactly how it turns out. But that's right. On-demand services and broadcasters have to spend 4% of their gross income that they make in Switzerland, have to spend or invest in Swiss films.
I'm sure this will come out in the discussion also further on, the impact of the streamers that have already started shooting in Switzerland over the past years. And I would like to go now to the big topic of co-producing. Everybody knows how important co-producing is within Europe, and beyond Europe. How does this work in Switzerland, considering these different regions, so many cantons? How does it work? Should somebody have connections to local producers in Zurich, in its canton? Do Swiss producers from different cantons work together? How would that work?
Switzerland has ratified the Convention on Cinematic Production of the EU, and we have separate treaties, co-production treaties with Canada and Mexico. So we can co-produce basically with the whole European countries and Canada and Mexico. And most of our co-productions are made with our neighboring countries, Germany, France, Italy, of course, Belgium, Austria, and Canada. Not neighboring, but, you know. Yeah. We have in Zurich, as a regional fund, we have a spending obligation of 150%. But it depends where your money comes from. As I said, often it's from national level and TV and regional fund. Not every regional fund has the same spending obligations. It's more easy to just have one, of course. Right. So if you want to co-produce with Switzerland, it's, I would say, the easiest to really look for one co-production company, not more than one, because Switzerland is also a very small country. So if you get funding, let's say from Zurich, it's really okay to shoot then wherever you want in Switzerland.
And in case there is interest to shoot, let's say, in the area of Ticino, in the Italian part of the country, where there is no film fund as far as I understand, could somebody from any other region of Switzerland apply? Could somebody from Ticino, a producer from Ticino, apply to any of the funds in the country?
That depends on the director. In Zurich, it would be the case if we have a Ticino production company working with a Zurich-based director, he could apply to Zurich. Right. But, I mean, if you don't need to get financing from Zurich, let's say, that's could be possible only from national level, and then maybe a little bit from Ticino Film Commission. That's also a way to go, and I think Carlo has experience
Exactly.
with this financing.
Exactly. I would like to go to you, Carlo, now, because you are here to tell us about your experience with co-producing with Switzerland. You are a very established, acclaimed producer in Italy. How did this all start for you with Switzerland? How did it start?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to point out there is a misspelling in my name. I'm Carlo, not Carlos, which is bad because my daughter keeps telling me that Carlos would be much sexier. Like, you are a narco, you know. Carlo sounds like a narco, sorry, but whereas Carlo without an S looks like an Italian that loves his mom too much, kind of thing. That's what my daughter say. Yes, long history. I think that our company produced about 20 films, and if I remember correctly, all but one, I mean, only one was not co-produced with Switzerland. And it is important to add that that kind of co-production and presence was never taken for granted for us. It was not just a financial thing, like a figure on a financial plan. Like, okay, yeah, add 10% from Switzerland, kind of thing. Was never like that. It was also a very, very mutual exchange that made our films better, richer, more proper for a larger audience. And very quickly, I would like to mention that all this started with Tiziana Sudani, that I think you all have heard about. Tiziana was our first co-producer. Now we co-produce with other Swiss producers, but the first one was Tiziana, and Tiziana was someone that you could call at any time and say, Tiziana, can you help me? And she would, if she could. And I tell you, not all co-producers are like that, whatever. Yes, it's a long, fruitful experience, and I think it's very, very interesting to chat. Maybe, I mean, I don't want to take too much time now, but to chat, what is it like, what could be different, and so on, and hear from you.
But the very first beginning of you starting establishing this connection and collaboration with this Swiss producer, was there because of the story of a particular movie that should be set and the story should be told in Switzerland?
It's one of those stories, because the first film I personally had already co-produced a few junk before, but the first film our company, Tempesta, produced was a film by a very, very young director called Alice Rohrwacher. The film was called Corpo Celeste, and the story was that Alice, who's a very particular director, wrote a novel before writing the script, and the novel started in Switzerland. But I don't know if you're familiar with the film, but it's a story of a young girl that returns to deep South Italy after her family had emigrated to Switzerland. So I immediately said, okay, wow, there is something in Switzerland, so let's find a co-producer. But then, for one of those reasons that every producer knows very well, we decided to concentrate the film only on the South Italian side. But it was a fantastic, fantastic co-production nonetheless. A lot of Swiss talent came to Reggio Calabria and worked there.
Right. And this took many, many years, bringing you back to Switzerland, because you had a recent co-production with Ticino, right, Gloria?
Yeah. No, yeah. Then the year after we did L'Intervallo by Leonardo di Costanza again was with a lot of crew coming from Switzerland and so on and so on and so on. And yeah, it's sometimes we the last, I would say 3-4 films at least, we try to also shoot in Switzerland, of course, part of the and it comes often very, very natural. The last two were shot there as well, yeah.
Let's go to the film commissioners now. Let's start with you, Lisa. Since, as far as I understand, Ticino is the first region in Switzerland to have a film commission, right?
Exactly. We are there since 2014. Well, this year we have our 10 years of film commission, Ticino. Exactly.
And could you tell us a little bit about the services that you offer in your region as a film commissioner?
Well, our main services are, of course, welcoming and accompanying the production to let them know and to facilitate them to shoot in our territory. Ticino, as I said before, is a small part in Switzerland. We are there now since 10 years. That means we had connection with all the territory, with lots of location, of institution. We can also, what we want to do and we are doing since the beginning is really trying to help the production from the beginning and in a very personalized way, depending on the requests they have. And of course, the first step is the location scouting, which is a very important part, and especially with the last co-production between Tempesta Film and Tel Film for the film Gloria of Margherita Vicario, which is now in the theaters in Italy. We really made a big job in this, by the location scouting, and I think our role as Film Commission, especially in this case, was really important and necessary. And of course, then also for during the production, we are there helping people to find affordable accommodation, to find crew and technicians from Ticino. And we also have some financial incentives that we can give. We unfortunately don't have big production funds, but anyways, we have some special incentive that we can give.
But it's clear from what you are telling us that you are there from beginning until the end, right? And how about you, Dino, in the Zurich Film Commission?
Yeah, the Film Commission in Zurich exists since 6 years now. We quite changed it like in the last year, so we invented new stuff. And but about the main services, of course, it's the same as Lisa does in Ticino. We support the productions from the idea to the finalization on all levels. It doesn't matter if it's in the working using our network or with authorities and making shoots possible, even shoots that seems like impossible, make them possible. That's like our service we do. That's the service we did for the last 6 years. And now we just released last year a location scouting package where producers can apply to get a little fund to their location scouting. And we released, a bit silent, but here in Cannes, our first incentive for Zurich. It's also a small budget, it's a small incentive, but it's for sure a step in the right direction now for the Film Commission for us.
So this is something very new, right?
It's 2 days old.
Okay, right.
Yes, that's...
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
And we hope it's going to be the beginning of other regions to follow.
Yes, it's important for us and that it's used and that we can show in the politicians and everyone that it's used and it's something important that we need it. So everybody has it. If we don't start to work with incentives in Switzerland, then we are no competition to the countries abroad or close countries.
And this is exactly what you say is so important in terms of how film commissioners help to raise awareness to the politicians about, you know, new legislations, new strategies to attract productions for the benefit of the local community and the growth of the local industry. And how about you, Tristan, in the Valais Film Commission?
So yes, I'm not going to say exactly the same that they did. We have the youngest film commission. It's 3 years old now. So we came very late in the game, but one thing was very important for us. It was the economical side of the film commission, because there is a service, facilitation, scouting, everything that has to do with the database of landscapes or locations and crews. But on the other side, we all know that movies is made with a lot of money, and that this attract as well the producers somewhere in a territory. So from the beginning on, we thought it was very important for us to have an incentive, and we have that incentive. It's a cash rebate system, so it's I think it's it's not the only one now, I guess.
No.
Okay, so it was the only one 2 days ago.
The competition is real.
The competition is on. We're going to talk about that after that. But yeah, we have that cash rebate system. It's nothing new. Everywhere in the world you can find that. Switzerland is very old in that sense, but in Valais it's very innovative, and Switzerland is very new. So it's something that we have in Valais, and really we wanted both service and incentive. Both of them are very important to make the system work.
And I would like to go back to you, Carlo, about the example of the production with Ticino Gloria, because Lisa mentioned the first part of the scouting process and how valuable their contribution has been. Can you talk us a little bit from your side and your perspective about that?
Well, it was a not complicated, but a bit tricky puzzle to put together, because the film is quite original, particular film. It's a music comedy, almost a musical, but set in 18th century with girls. You know, it's very funny, and I mean, it's a film I made, so it's beautiful for me. We have this say in Italian. We say that every cockroach is beautiful in his mother's eyes, right? So don't ask me if my films are good. They are fantastic. They're just fantastic. But this one is really. And no, it was difficult because we had to sorry, I always. Yeah, it was difficult because it was about showing Venice without shooting in Venice. Venice is very expensive, as everybody knows. So apart from some establishing shots, we wanted, and it wasn't easy to find, and it was a college. It has to match with the college that we found in Italy. It couldn't. So it was an interesting, complicated.
Exactly, I confirm.
But it came out very well in terms of really the part shot in Switzerland you would never recognize. And the film finishes in Switzerland with the girls visiting Madame de Stael, so you know the famous. No, oh okay. Thinking about, you know, Beyond Location is a wonderful title. I think it's a wonderful title. A couple of reflection that come from our experience. One is that we always found more fruitful and better when we work with film commission that kept the core function in-house. I'm not talking about Switzerland. I don't actually know how you are organized. So I'm not that naive. I know that you know, hiring someone in terms of negotiation with the politicians is much more difficult than simply squandering some money, putting some money on a film. But that makes a massive difference. Larger, I'm sorry, film commission, and we work better. And it's not just about continuity. It's not just about finding the same face every time. It's about the accumulation of knowledge in the film commission. If you keep in-house the core function, you grow in competence. And for us, I'm speaking pro domo mea, for us as a producer, to deal with the competent and autorevole, how do you say, competent and film commission is very important. This is one point. The other one may be later, otherwise
No, this was exactly what I was about to ask you, to give us, since you have worked with so many film commissions for your co-productions in different countries, not only in Switzerland, as you said, what is this, let's say, series of expectations you have by film commissions? What do you expect by them from beginning, at a very early stage, while shooting, we're considering possible locations to shoot, up until the moment of shooting, even later, at a later stage, and we will discuss about the promotion part. But we had a discussion, and not only you mentioned the importance that you just brought on the table right now of the accumulated knowledge, the big teams within film commissions that can facilitate your needs better, but you also gave other dimensions to the work between producers and film commissioners, and I think this is very important to be heard from your point of view.
The point is that the film commission is the last leg where that lands a lot of money in the territory, right? Notwithstanding, they can put money or not. When they put is better, by the way.
Always.
Just in case, you know, you change your mind, you know. But what is more important, if you think about it, in a way, Film Commission manage massive amount of money that land on the territory. And so it would be interesting to start a conversation with producers on how this money lands. Create conditionalities. You want my money? And let's not forget that most of the money that lands on the territory is public money. So do you want to come here, do you want to film, do you want to use your money here, and you want my money as well as a producer? Then you have to give me some conditions, which are, for example, a serious policy of impact reduction. This is something I'm talking about, impact, sustainability, environmental sustainability. You should make your production sustainable if you want to shoot here. And I must say, and I'm not talking about Switzerland, I'm talking about in general, in Italy and not just, I don't think the Film Commission have been very serious on this. The idea is, yes, let's do something for the planet. But what we are still missing is a third-party body to analyze all the protocols that are circulating at the moment and to approve some that can be then used by every public body as a condition. 30-second, vested, mixed interest. 12 years ago, we created a protocol, but the protocol is now with another company. We have nothing to do, or very little to do with it. It's not about our protocol. It's about comparing and finding the best. And one serious point with protocol is how you certify them. How do you certify? So I come to you and you said, you have to use a protocol and blah, blah, blah. You say, oh, yeah, sure. This is the protocol. I will reduce my impact of 30, 20%. And you go like, yes, fantastic. Here's the money. Who is actually looking in my underwears to see that I have actually reduced? Sorry, you can say it in English.
If I may say something here, I think it's a very
wait, sorry, I finish. Just very quickly.
It's a very wide subject topic, very interesting. Just to put a conclusion to that, I think probably in Italy the things are not the same. I think in Switzerland we are too young to talk about that, because the first thing for us is the service. We need to have a good service, and then those questions arise. But if I just want to make that point with Cinetihol, for example, they have something that's an example for us, because they have those protocols and they are doing it very well. Because if you don't do what they ask, you don't get the money. That's all. So it's working. It just depends on the country where you go. Is it working? But this is something general that has nothing to do really with the Film Commission. That's just to say.
And it is very true that this is not the case only for Switzerland or Italy. This is a massive topic, which is very relevant, absolutely, the environmental impact and the environmental sustainability, the social sustainability. These are huge, massive topics, and of course, we all understand their importance. And what you're bringing here in the discussion, Carlo, is very important in terms of, let's say, the training of film commissions, the training of film commissioners with their relevant film bodies, film funds, and or relevant cultural offices, ministries. There's so many people in the chain that are involved. And clearly, this is something crucial. And from the point of view of the European Film Commission's network, I would like to say that the current board is very aware of this need, and therefore we are already implementing training sessions for our members, which are going to come very soon within this year, so that film commissions, either who are newcomers, new beginners, new film commissions, or established ones, or let's put this other perspective in the discussion. The European Film Commission's network has 100 members from 33 countries in Europe. And these film commissions are national level, regional level, city-based. So you have so many different capacities, and they all need to figure out and find out and systematize with serious strategies and policies, how can I be a successful film commission for my region, no matter how wide or narrow my region is. So the training on the environmental impact is very high in the priorities of the UFCN, and it is important that you brought it on the table. I don't know if you would like to add something to that.
Very quickly. It's not that difficult. The issue is certification. I know that in a system where Albert is considered the standard, Albert is the protocol created by BBC, the big five. Well, to me, Albert is greenwashing. If there is a journalist, you can publish it.
All right.
Because it's not you cannot certify it. It's self-certify. So you say you will comply with the law, and you check yourself. Wow.
So the aspect of certification clearly is something to be considered very, very seriously. And because you mentioned that, the conditionalities while using public funds, which is also very important. And you know what? If the majority of producers in Europe and beyond had the ethical code that you have, we would have a better sustainable film industry. Thank you for bringing that to this table. But let's go a little bit further to understand how the Swiss regions and these film commissioners from these 3 regions of Switzerland work. I would like to ask you, because the importance of growing infrastructure, crews, the local industry on a local level is very, very high also in your tasks. How do you work for that? Because as our very successful title, thank you for the compliment, Carlo, it comes from Carlota Guerrero, the co-president of the board of the UFCN, from Catalonia Film Commission. Film commissions are beyond locations. How do you work, Lisa, Dino, and Tristan, in your regions to grow your crews, to make your politicians understand the importance for so many other things?
That's for sure a very important aspect, and since the beginning of the Ticino Film Commission, the main goals that we have are, of course, one side to attract production from outside the canton Ticino, but the other one, which is, I would say, important as well as the one, is to promote, support the local audiovisual that there is in our territory. And since now I'm working there, the Film Commission since 2017, and I really seen also a difference and increasing of technicians, of professional people that we have in our territory that can make cinema, from the technician to the production and directors. And for us, as Film Commission, it's really also important to support them and to help that this also go on. Also because it's very important, because if we have more production coming to Ticino, and we need people from the territory that can work on the production. And we saw in the last years, we have also quite a problem for this reason, actually, because it happens, for example, 2 years ago, that we had 3 production in our territory, quite big production, and we didn't have enough people that could work on the production from Ticino. Well, we are collaboration also with Focal to, for example, to have people in Ticino that can make location scouting, or we try to support also this part. of the local crew, for the local crew.
Right. And you, Dino, in Zurich?
Yes. So first of all, we try to make them visible to outside of the bubble. So to the politicians, like to bring them in to see, to go on set and see what it really means to make a film and make to create awareness for the industry. And we have 800 companies in Zurich that are some or how involved in filmmaking. So that's quite a huge industry for such a small city.
May I ask, is it right to consider that Zurich is the film hub of Switzerland?
Yes. Yes. For sure. And the beautiful city. No, it's no. We have a lot of companies there because that's really lot is going on in Zurich with not only filmmaking, fiction or documentaries, and it's all a huge commercial part, like commercial companies. Shooting every day. We have multiple shoots every day all over Zurich. So there is a lot going on. So we try to make awareness of this, that this has a real economic impact on the city. So the whole value chain through audiovisual production. We just made a study now. We were not able to release it here in Cannes. That was the first idea. It's a bit later now. But yeah, just like the impact that the audiovisual industry has on Zurich. And that we can, get more awareness on it on the political level, and that everybody knows it's not just in quotation marks a cultural thing. It's an economic thing. So and it's really important, and there are a lot of jobs and a lot of people working on it. And I think that's not there on the highest level where it has to be now. So that's a huge part of our work. Yes,
Which is constant and ongoing and
constant,
very
ongoing.
demanding.
Exactly.
And in Valais?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm on the wrong seat because I don't want to say exactly the same thing that they're saying, but I think that the service is one thing, and having a production or many production on our territory is very cool. It's nice to have them, but this is not the goal at the end. It's really to be able to develop the local community, because production are coming and they're leaving. But people in the community are staying. So what can we do for them? And for us in Valais, at least, we have really 3 angles, which is culture, economy, and tourism, because we have a lot of tourism. So how can we help them to develop? How can we help those 3 fields to develop? So we can do it during the shooting, by trying to involve as much as possible the people in the community, not only crews in the audiovisual field, but also anyone that could help a movie. We know that a movie is a prototype, so each time it's new, each time you can involve people from different fields. And then during the promotion of the movie, when the movie is coming out, we have now Sauvage, who was shot in Valais for 7 months, an animation film. And what can we do? Okay, we can show that in Valais we make wine, so we bring wine. We have a happy hour at 5 o'clock, just to let you know.
You will enjoy it soon.
We'll have wine, and we'll have panettone de Ticino. So we try to and we have Zurich. But we really try, not only during the shooting, but also after that, to show that, we have tourism, we have an economical impact, we have a cultural impact, and we show it during all the process. Because for us, as a community, a film is a tool, and we need to use it. We need to help them. And more we help, more they come, more they can help us too. So that's the goal, I think.
And since what you're saying right now is very relevant to the promotion in all levels, in terms of promoting your region, in terms of culture, locations, crew, but also in terms of the possibilities for people to come again and again and discover the new possibilities in your country, since it's so versatile. How do you strategize your promotions? And do you work closely with your film fans? Do you work closely with Swiss films? Are there particular initiatives that you take to promote your assets? Any of the film commissioners?
Well, for example, today that we're here together and we have the opportunity to be here this year in Cannes as with the Switzerland country of honor, I think it's a great opportunity. And together, what I think is that together we are stronger than if only Ticino goes to come to Cannes or go to Berlin or somewhere else, where Switzerland is particular with the different regions, with different different languages. Not every canton has a film commission so far, and we are the first one. There are other ones. Here we have also Lucerne and Central Switzerland that is here. There are other. You see, there are also other film commissions that we think, we hope, are growing. There is now also a Switzerland Film Commission since a few years. We are for 2 weeks in the committee also of the Switzerland Film Commission, which should really a little bit do this work as umbrella, to help and represent the Film Commission and the region to grow up and to let Switzerland as a country be known as a country to come and shoot. There are, Julia before explained, there are, we don't have, the big cash rebate and all this stuff that the country nearby us have, but we have other possibility. And I think if we work also together as we are doing, we can it's more easier to attract productions.
And Zurich and Valais, Dino and Tristan, in terms of Swiss films and any initiatives in national or regional level?
Do you want to go first then?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I've been working since the beginning a lot with Swiss films. Since we didn't have a Switzerland Film Commission or National Film Commission, we had to find partners when we go in Berlin, for example, for instance. So I always try. Swiss film doesn't have exactly the same mission that we have, but we can find ways to work together, and that's very important for us. But we can also see in the financing process that we start to appear in the financing plan, for example. Now you can see Ticino Film Commission, or you can see Valais Film Commission. It's something new, and Swiss people don't really understand. They start now to understand what it means to have that. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's already something that you can put in your financing plan. Producers are calling me saying, can I put the Valais film in the financing plan, which is the case. So they start to understand that we are part of the game.
And beyond locations.
And beyond locations. And to answer the question about institution, yeah, we work. From my side, it's Cineforum, which is the French part of regional part. Yes, we do work with them a lot, so we collaborate. We don't depend on them because it's a state fund, but we do collaborate with them, yes.
And Julia, I would like to come to you and to ask, because, there's this also discourse among film commissions that it's not only about locations, about crews, and it's not only about how to attract foreign producers, Italian producers to come to Switzerland or elsewhere in the world. All this would work and would be far more effective if there is a strong national cinema, if there is a strong engine producing an important national cinema. How does Zurich Film Fund consider this? What are the strategies you follow to strengthen your national cinema?
Well, we spent money on it.
Okay,
actually.
Important,
no, I mean,
for sure.
In Switzerland, we have around 80 feature-length films produced per year, and around 30 films are co-productions, half of it minority co-productions. So it's quite. Our talent is, they really work in film. And I would say, as every co-production, it's around, if you want to have the big bucks, you really need to make a co-production. Because, as we said, there is no tax incentive. So what we are doing is we promote actually co-productions. We make co-production meetings with our producers within the region, or we go with them to Germany or to Austria mainly. And yes, that's how we strengthen the network of our producers within Europe. Right. Yeah.
And Carlo, from the point of view of a producer, we understood, I think, quite clearly how important it is to have somebody from a film commission help you with the scouting, with the incentives offered, with the crew, the infrastructure. In terms of promoting your film, do you find value in working in collaboration and supporting film commissioners in their promotional strategies so that they can use the film that was shot in the region, so that they can promote through the film as well, so that there is a joint, effort for promotion, both sides?
Definitely. The point is, at the end of the day, the point is trying to make an international film, right? Which is the core of the... Because, for example, when you do a first film with a young director, you want them to grow. And growing is also trying to figure out how your film is going to please different audiences, apart from your mom and your auntie, or the Italian, audience. So that moment when the film becomes international through a festival and beyond distribution is so important to make it, a non just Italian or not just UK. I operate in both countries. UK is a different story, but say Italy. But on the other side, I also think that if Switzerland, through some fantastic producer they co-produce like the film of Alice Rohrwacher, that were very La Chimera is the last one, Lazzaro Felice, Le Meraviglie, and blah blah blah. She's an international star now, and the fact that Switzerland has always been instrumental with this is something that I think it is important, but a bit important for the Swiss industry as well. Like, for example, part of at least the sound designer, but I'm sure more, won important international award with Alice's film. So I think it's part of, raising the standard. This is very important as well.
And that is like an indirect way of saying that film commissioners also contribute in, giving voice to new talents, not only in locations, not only in line producers and producers, but in the entire spectrum of all professions and actors and companies and any talent basically involved.
And what Tristan was saying is growing, again, a competent network of local, professionals is so important for us. It's so important. Because especially then, if you then ask us to spend money there, right? Because I would like to have most of the crew local, but sometimes there are some competence that are... But, for example, I think it's a good example is Torino Film Commission, Torino Piemonte Film Commission, because they have now been around for how long? 40 years, maybe? There is a sub-industry created over there, and it's so important. You know that if you go to Torino and Piemonte, you can hire a good part of the crew locally.
And before we open to our lovely audience here for possible questions, and we hope you have some, we give you some time to consider them. I want to ask, of course.
I just waited. Sorry, you jumped me before, because I just wanted to say, because if we work together with Swiss Films, and I make it short, we just, no worries, we just did another approach this year together with Swiss Films. So there's the Swiss Hub on the other side, where the happy hour is after the panel, and we decided to bring in and support some startups from Zurich, startups and spin-offs, because there is a lot going on also in the startup companies that work close to the film industry, because we have the ETH there, like one of the leading technical universities of the world, and there's a lot growing out of there. And I just invite you. They're here. They have showcases and stuff, and then check them out. It's really fascinating what they are doing.
Showing your assets in such way in markets like this is, of course, an incredible strategy. And thank you for pointing it out. Sorry to forget about you.
No worries.
At the very end, I was about to ask you any incredible achievements you might have had while working with specific producers, specific directors in international projects that were shooting in your place in your region, either in terms of troubleshooting or in terms of managing to convince relevant bodies, local authorities, to do the impossible possible, for filming permits, for anything you can imagine? This goes for you also, Carlo, in case you think of a production in Switzerland after the film commissioners, yeah.
We had just one in Zurich. I'm not allowed to talk about it too much, but
as much as you can.
no, that there were some locations that were difficult to get, and we did it in the end. We had to activate our network to the highest levels, and yeah, we were able to make it possible. Yeah, also with the help of Julia and her connections, and yeah, it was really great for us, and a great project. And yeah, and we do have now a big one in Zurich too, a Netflix one from Asia. They're shooting. They stay for a month, and yeah, it's really a lot going on at the moment.
It's maybe also an advantage of Switzerland that ways are short. Even the country is small. Everybody knows everybody. Need to, so we can talk to each other and find ways to yes,
Make things
help.
possible.
Yes,
Make things possible. But it takes an effort and a relevant experience. It's not only about knowing you, but it's also how do I manage to convince you to make the impossible possible. So I think this is an incredible skill that film commissioners develop over the years. Tristan?
Yeah, of course, I agree. There's one thing I was thinking about the challenge, because your question is interesting. Probably for me, in the 3 years of work, the hardest is probably to deal with people, egos, and to know how to work with a producer or someone else differently than I would do with someone else, and deal with that is a challenge every time. Because you have to know how to talk with people. You cannot. Sometimes you have to be harsh, and sometimes you have to come down. And probably that's the biggest challenge. Because all the other things we can find ways, permits, and shooting in the mountains. We find ways.
Psychologists as well. Okay, point taken. Lisa?
We also had a big challenge 2 years ago with an important production, maybe the most big we had in Ticino in the last year, which is not yet. I also cannot say too much since 2 years now, but I hope in the next months we will speak about it a little bit more. And they ask us, it's for Amazon Prime, and they ask us they had to close to shoot an action movie. To shoot a shooting, exactly, in the center of Lugano. We had to close a street where the cars has to run one after the other. It was quite a challenge also in this case to speak with the people there, to let them understand why it was important to do that. We also in this case, our role was really important to speak with the police, with the LAC, with the municipality, and the people living there, and at the end it was possible to do that. That was quite challenging.
We can all imagine. Carlo, is there something that comes to mind working with film commissioners and that made you happy for something difficult?
Happy, almost everything, I would say. Right. Almost everything, yeah. No, really, not a specific, but of course what is also very important that we didn't mention, but Michaela is there, is between me as a foreign producer and the film commission, there is a local producer. Right. So the competence, once again, the ability, the diplomacy, the intelligence of the co-producer is instrumental to make anything happen in that level. They know what you need, they can help you. And my impression is that another point is that the sooner you involve a co-producer and a film commission is, in the development of the process, the long process that bring a film or a TV series to existence, the sooner you involve the film commission and the co-producer, the better it is, because then the collaboration is more organic and not just episodic. Like, what do you need? Oh, I need I don't know, and oh, okay, we have it. It's a bit more than
this is
that.
completely true. This is very
And
important.
very important. Absolutely true. Very good point. Yeah.
But for us, I think that the worst one is still to come, no? Where is Michela? I mean, we are working now on a film which is, in terms of, might be ending up being shot entirely in Switzerland, but it's complicated to find what we want. We will see. But they are fantastic. They will find it.
And you will have all this intelligence around you.
Absolutely.
Especially after meeting
Feel belittled.
more experts in Switzerland. Are there any questions from you? Fantastic. So the lady over here, there's a mic coming to you.
Hey. Hey, this is for Dino. You quickly mentioned that you have a new location scouting package, and I was wondering if you could elaborate on that.
Yes, so you can apply to us. The producers can apply to us. It's not a big one, but it covers a few costs of the location scouter and some hotel accommodation. The only thing that has to be is that the scouter is from Zurich. I mean, it makes sense. We're in Zurich. We have the borders, and yeah, you can see it. We have an iPad here in the Swiss Hub with all the informations on it to the location scouting and to the incentive, and we are there, my dear colleague Nadine and I, and you can ask us there. Yes.
And Dino, this location scouting program that you have just implemented all for
The location is last year, yes.
the last year, it's obviously offered to productions even if they don't have a commitment to shoot in Switzerland, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The location scouting is.
This is
yes.
very
yes,
important.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Another question?
Yes, so I had a question. I think it's mostly for the commissioners, but or Swiss people on the panel. Is if you think today on a federal level or on a cantonal level, is the focus on trying to support local production that will go abroad, or local production for local consumers, or is there also an ambition to film global English-speaking production in Switzerland and attract as much of that as possible? So basically the question is where the main focus is, and if there's an ambition to make English-speaking content for the global market coming from Switzerland.
They only already have to consider 3 languages, right? So now
Exactly. It's
even 4. Yes, of course, we want to attract international productions to Zurich, and then to create great work and involve the local producers there. If we produce out from Switzerland to the international market, we do, but it's on a smaller case at the moment. Maybe you can say more. It's like in Germany, of course, we have in the German part, we have like the TV series and broadcast series. They are shown in the Swiss and German and Austrian TV, but like that's the international thing we do outside, but we try to bring it as much as possible. Yeah, in the German part, it's different. I think in the French part and in the Italian part.
For us, we want to attract foreigners, so that's for sure. The incentive we have is 15 to 35%, but you get 10% more if you are a foreign company. So we really want people to come from the outside. The goal with that is to allow people from Valais, Marstedt, that doesn't have any industry yet, to learn from those people coming from abroad. So it's really, the goal is really to take people from outside and bring them to the Valais.
and gain knowledge from that
Exactly, yes.
import. Very good also point, yeah, in the world of film commissions as well. Other question, if we have, I think, yes, right. I think we have a bit of time.
Hi, I just want to ask to my dear colleagues from commissioners, how do you deal to measure the economic impact of a production? And for Carlo, if you as a producer feel comfortable sharing data?
Sharing
If you
data?
feel, yes, sharing,
Of course,
your expenditure, or
We have to.
yes. How do you deal with having all those data and say this production in this city impact in this amount?
For us, it's very simple. We work with a cash rebate, so every production that has that cash rebate has to show the bills from everything, pizzas to cafe to everything has to be shown. So I know exactly what has been spent in Valais.
Yeah, and for the one that are not in the incentive program or so, then we just try to work with the producers and, yeah, to get the numbers from the producers directly, yeah, to have an overview.
In Ticino is the same, and as Carlo says, I think they are used to do that. We have a survey, online survey that we send to the producer that came in Ticino, the one that get financial incentive, but also the one we just give our services, and then we also, for the one that get financial incentive, as Tristan says, we then ask also the bills, the final count of the production.
Yeah, and this is very important because it allows us to go to the politician afterwards and say, yeah, look, they spent $1 and we have $5 so and this is real. This is not just, you know, a view like that.
And also what we are also asking always is how many people, local crew was employed, and we put a special importance to the overnights, the accommodation, the meals, also all the stuff regarding more the tourist fields.
If I quickly, two things, yes, we are more than happy to share that data. We have it. That elegant metaphor about looking into our underwears is very, very real. We got audit, so the figures are there. But I think that, again, here, it would be interesting to start a conversation to find the different metrics for the impact of a production, because it's not just economic. First of all, it's not just about the money that the film we pay directly, the amount of, you know, if you measure strictly economically the impact on a territory. Friuli Film Commission did it ages ago, and they got to the point where they calculated that every euro invested brings 13 euros to the territory in various ways. So it's an investment, you know, you put money, you get more money. This is called investment. But also, more than that, we should try to figure out what is the real impact. Like, for example, I know an economist that is trying to calculate the economic impact of the Notting Hill Carnival in London. And it's not just about the money that circulates, it's more than that. It's also about building an identity, building an industry, giving confidence to people, giving prospect to people. You know, young people, if they learn to work in cinema, Jesus, they have a world in front of them.
I totally agree with you. We have time. I totally agree with you. I think you're right. And the problem is that we work with money and we ask money to people who ask what are the economical impact of that. So we have to convince them with that tool, and then we have to go and ask ourselves, what the fuck is culture useful for? You know? What is it useful for? Why do we want culture? It's something that we need because we're human and we need that. But that doesn't convince anybody when you want to get money to politicians. That's why I use the F word, sorry for the TV.
Last word.
Really last. I agree, but I must say in the last year we tried to put more importance to these aspects and showing further to the data, also, so let's say case studies about some production that we had in Ticino, and I must say this is working also with, it's a good way exactly to explain at 360 degrees what a production brings, not only money and data. Well, I completely agree what Carlo is saying.
And it's because facts and figures are always very much needed and appreciated when it comes to changing people's lives. Yeah. So thank you all. I hope you had the chance to have reliable information from these wonderful speakers today about how to produce and co-produce with Switzerland, as reliable as a Swiss watch. So you're very welcome to come to the Swiss Hub across very soon for the happy hour. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you all.